This is my reaction video to the Ravens 17-10 loss to the Steelers in Pittsburgh in week 5, pulling the teams into a virtual tie atop the AFC North. But from a Ravens fan's perspective, it's quite obvious that this feels like two losses in one. It certainly doesn't feel like you're watching a good football team when you watch what happened today. Defensively, there was just too much pressure put on those guys. Pickens, had a wonderful day for the Steelers, beats Marlon Humphrey one-on-one up the right sideline. You can argue about whether we should be in that coverage at all, but so outside of that and a couple other situations, small situations, the Ravens defense played exceptional. But credit to the Steelers. Everybody talks about the new game of football and the way the game is played now and the way the game is designed. They didn't turn the football over on offense. They played strong defense. I would say our defense played better for much of the day, but the Steelers blocked a punt. They did turn the football over on special teams, but they forced 3 turnovers by us. You can say it however you want. The old manner of winning football games still applies sometimes. Now, sometimes you've got to win 37-33. Today was not one of those days. The Ravens' offense self-destructed again for the second time in 3 weeks. At this point, we have 8 turnovers in 5 games, I believe. It could very easily be 9. Lamar's fumble against the Bengals that was called back for, I believe, a hands to the face on a Bengals defensive tackle could have very easily been our 9th turnover in 5 games. We have a problem. There's a huge problem with ball security on this team. You could see it in the dropped passes, and you could see it in the fumble by Justice Hill. Lamar had another fumble, and another interception. That was a horrible decision. Now, he lit it up in the first half, and I actually think he deserves a lot of credit for the way he threw the football because I think he was dealing with something with maybe his right thumb or his wrist or something. I thought I saw tape on his right wrist and thumb at some point during the game, but maybe it wasn't. I thought the ball was floating often for Lamar today, but nonetheless, he put things on target except for 2 critical situations. The interception where Joey Porter beats OBJ was a bad decision by Lamar in poor ball location. And then, unfortunately, the throw to Zay Flowers when Zay is basically wide open for what could have been a touchdown. In the fourth quarter, Lamar had trouble getting that ball out there. You could see it was floating. So I think he deserves credit for playing through whatever he was dealing with from a right wrist or hand standpoint. But we've got an offense that is very unstable and can be rolling along, producing yards, getting chunk plays, and then after one turnover kind of disappears. Additionally, we've got difficulty at the offensive line. We can't handle stunts. Like the most basic stunts, a DN, D tackle, switch rush or twist, whatever you want to call it, TED, DET, whatever. It works well for our defense too. So it's not like we're the only offensive line that has trouble with it, but it works a lot against us. We got real issues with ball security and keeping the offense moving consistently because it seems like there's times where we have no identity. We have a bunch of concepts that we run, and we can execute them at times, and sometimes we can execute them at a high level, and we can look damn near unstoppable. But during periods when the offense is in a lull, we don't have anything to count on. We have no identity. It seems like right now we're basically the same team that we saw in 2022, except that the offense has no identity in terms of who and what we are, for better or for worse. I will tell you that, I'll tell you what we are. We're a team incapable of beating the Pittsburgh Steelers consistently. We just are. You have to recognize that reality. And there's probably a lot of people that are going to stop listening at this point. That's no problem. I can't sit here and not give you the evaluation or analysis that I think I see. I might be wrong, but I'm going to tell you what I think. They beat us today on a day when we gave everything away. Drop passes, fumbles on a big screen, a horrible pass in the end zone when we're up 10-8, and we just need to get points. That was a terrible decision by Lamar. And have an opportunity to stack onto the lead. This one's on everybody, with a special focus, though, on the decision from Harbaugh. I'm not going to let this one go, and you're probably going to hear me talk about it too many times. I'll let some stats flow so you guys don't have to see that scoreboard pop up there. The decision by Harbaugh on the 5th possession, I believe we're leading 10-0 with the ball after it was 3rd and 10 completion to Aguilar for 8 yards. And I thought Aguilar played quite well today, other than the obvious drop, which could have been a touchdown. We hurry up to the line of scrimmage and go for it. At the time, it's an unconscionable move. And I'll be honest with you, even though I'm a Ravens fan and I'm rooting for us to go, 17-0, I'm kind of glad it came back to haunt us. That's not winning football. It's never been winning football. It never will be. Now, we've since seen that Harbaugh explained it away, saying we were trying to line up with the intention of maybe hard counting, but basically kicking the field goal, letting the Steelers think that we were going for it to run some clock off. I understand that, but it seems like we make things difficult on ourselves consistently. Was Quan Alexander in the neutral zone? Is it a smart move by Tyler Linderbaum to snap the football there because he thinks that they're in the neutral zone? Man, I don't agree with that type of thinking. I just don't. What's Tyler Linderbaum, like 23, 24 years old? I think that the definition of coaching is putting players in position to succeed. And I think if you are going to go out there in that situation, you have to say, don't snap the football, period. Like, just don't snap the football. Hard count, but don't snap it. That way you don't open yourselves up to it. Maybe this is the impetus to change the way we approach that. I understand it's the NFL, and you have to squeeze the juice out of every situation you can to try to maximize your opportunities to score touchdowns. I don't know, man. 13-3 lead at the half sure sounds. I think it was actually 10-3 at that point. 13-3 lead at the half sounds pretty damn good to me, given the way that things turned out. I feel like John Harbaugh and this team is a team that refuses to take our medicine, and in turn ends up being more sick later on. In this case, we got ill today and started bleeding, and we couldn't patch that wound. There's really nothing good to say about this game, except that I will turn this a little bit, and it'll probably be difficult to hear for Ravens fans. People want to criticize the Steelers' offense and Matt Canada and Kenny Pickett and all those guys. And I don't think that's a very good football team. Like, I don't want to sound disrespectful. I'm not going to name out individual guys. I don't think that's a very good football team right now, the Steelers. But they did not turn the football over on offense. They played solid defense. Imagine we don't turn the ball over on offense. Justice Hill doesn't fumble. It's a great play by their, I think, interior D lineman, but I could be wrong. Maybe it was a linebacker. And then Lamar throws the interception, and then Lamar gets strip sacked later on for, I think, what is his 6th fumble this year. 3rd one that's lost. Could be his 7th, again, with the one against the Bengals. Like, you may not want to recognize reality, or you may want to be lied to. Lamar's a turnover-prone quarterback right now in 2023. He just is. He's got 9 turnovers. He's got 2 interceptions, 6 or 7 fumbles, 9 opportunities to turn the football over. Yes, we had a ton of drop passes in the first half. Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman, those are balls that can't be dropped. Lamar, with what I think is either an ailing wrist or a thumb injury or something, was able to put the ball on location for those guys. You got to catch the football. Zay Flowers, I think, had 1 drop today, maybe 2, although he did make big plays later on. Nelson Aguilar dropped the slot fade, which is kind of like our go-to now at times. Bateman, I thought, had an opportunity to catch it, a little bit off his fingertips up the left sideline. I still thought that was a very well-thrown ball by Lamar. I think in terms of throwing the football where you want the ball to go, Lamar is generally doing a fantastic job this year. The exception today is the one to OBJ. It's a poor decision to throw that football. OBJ is not going to physically outman Joey Porter Jr. He's just not. It's not a good decision in terms of the matchup. If it was basketball and the game was on the line, would you say, OBJ is going to take Joey Porter Jr. to the hole? He's going to beat him off the dribble and outquick him, outspeed him? No, he's not. It's a bad decision. I think it's a poor job of coaching up 10-8. If it's me at that point, we're running the football with Lamar on that 3rd down, and we're either getting in or we're not. But we're not going to turn the football over. Special teams had a punt blocked. Credit to the Steelers. They didn't turn the football over on offense. They played solid defense. They contested a lot of things. We should have scored 24 points today, I guess. Maybe I'm doing my math right. We definitely should have scored 20 plus. You let me know in the comment section, if you're still listening, how many points you think we should have scored. It clearly should have been more than 10. Justice Hill's fumble seemed to deflate this team. Now, I want to talk about the offense from a particular standpoint. And this might be difficult to hear because everybody's going to want to focus on my criticism of Lamar for not making good decision on the throw to OBJ. Yeah, it's fine if you want to focus on all the drops in the first half. They were huge. If we don't drop the passes in the first half, we're not in that situation late. Absolutely true. No problem. But up 10-8 with the football inside the 5, you can't turn it over. You can't. All right, I want to talk about the offense and how when you are predictable, it can impact the game. I want to talk about one formation. I kind of want to show it, but I'm not going to show broadcast angle view. Fourth possession, there's a 2nd and 7, and we go trips left pistol. So Gus is behind Lamar in the pistol. We got 3 receivers to the left, except one of them's Ricard, and we run outside zone to the left side. And Gus makes a great cut for a 9-yard gain. Like I said, fourth possession, 2nd and 7, 9-yard gain. Cool, all right? 2 possessions later, 6th possession. We're up 10-3. This is the possession late in the half, I think. We're up 10-3, 2nd and 10 from just on our side of the 50, negative 46. We line up in the exact same formation, trips left pistol, and the Steelers immediately identify it. Their linebackers and their safety actually walked up, and Gus gets 4 yards on the same exact play. Outside zone to the trip side from pistol, the trip side being where Ricard was. All right? This is Greg Roman stuff, meaning let me line up here and run this. Oh, it worked. I'm going to call that again. Not understanding this is the second time you've run that same formation and same play this game. And in fact, it's twice within 3 possessions, 4th, 5th, and then 6th possession. We run it the second time, we get 4 yards. It's the law of diminishing returns that I've been talking about often here lately in terms of being predictable, lining up in a particular formation, basically showing the defense what you're going to do, revealing your hand to it before you run the play. Now you may say, well, Coach, what difference does it make? We did it again. 8th possession, we're up 10-3. 1st and 10 from our 20-yard line. And we did line up in a different formation first, and then we shifted to trips left pistol. And Hill is it's actually trips right pistol, sorry. Same formation, just a mirror image. Hill is at tailback this time. We run outside zone to the trips where Ricard is. And we get a hold. Why did we get a hold? They knew it was coming. I'm going to show it this week. You can see the pre-snap communication by the Steelers. They know it's coming. This is the same stuff that Greg Roman would do, and many of us would point out and criticize. Well, Todd Monken just did it today. There's probably, my guess is there's probably 120 different plays on his play call sheet. And he picked the same formation 3 times and ran the same exact play 3 times. Ended up, costing us because we ended up getting a hold, 1st and 10. Now you may say, well, what difference does that make, Coach? It's just a 10-yard loss. Hey, guess what happened at the end of that 8th possession? We got a punt blocked in the end zone. My point is when you're predictable, the margin for error is too small. This team is talented, but our margin for error is still small. We can't show the defense what we're doing pre-snap and not expect bad things to happen when we run the same play. 3 for 3. You may say, well, Coach, we probably ran 70 plays in this game. Defenses are going to take advantage of whatever pre-snap information you give them. Whatever intel you give them pre-snap, they're going to capitalize on it. And in this situation, that one pushed us back to 1st and 20. We ended up having to punt from right near our end zone. We get it blocked. All of them hurt. All of these drop passes, the fumble by Hill, the interception by Lamar, the blocked punt hurts. I am focusing, me personally, on the coaching decisions. I don't think that we should be that predictable with all the multiple stuff that Todd Monken is being credited with doing, myself included last week talking about it. We ended up only being up 10-0 at one point after 2 crucial drops. Andrews dropped the ball, Bateman dropped the ball, Flowers dropped the ball on the first possession. Lamar had a bad decision. Okay, fine. But from my perspective, the age that I am, I choose to assign more blame to the people in charge, the adults in the room. At some point, somebody has to be the adult in the room. And for me, I thought that guy would be Todd Monken, and apparently it's not. We punt at some point. We're up 10-8. We get a fortunate turnover. Kevon Seymour nearly takes it back to the house. We run the ball for like 3 or 4 yards, a 2nd and goal, I think from the 4, maybe the 3.5, but let's call it the 4. It's almost like, I'm going to give you a comparison. It's almost like John Harbaugh thinks field goals only count if it's the last kick of the game to win the game by Tucker. Like only touchdowns count unless it's a field goal in the last second of the game. And then it's almost like Todd Monken thinks touchdowns only count sometimes if Lamar throws it in or Lamar runs it in. Because I don't know why, when I say we don't have an identity, what I mean is we run the ball with Gus on 1st down. If we're going to go hurry up 3 or 4 times a game, which I don't feel like our hurry up is that successful, I want to see us go hurry up and give the ball to Gus Edwards 3 times in a row. You may say, it's 2023, Coach, that's not football. We just lost the game 17-10. where we generally outplayed the Steelers for the better part of 3 quarters. Let me get to the stats. Let me let the stats flow. We ended up not really outgaining them by a ton, 335 to 289. You see it in the bottom left. Only threw for 210 yards. We did average 5 yards a carry. Still figured out a way to lose the football game. That's going to bring me to my next point. It's October 8th, 2023. Do you want to know what we were all doing 1 year ago? 1 year ago today, it was Saturday, October 8th, 2022. We were all still moaning and complaining and arguing with each other if it was the right thing for John Harbaugh to go for it on 4th and goal from the 3 against the Buffalo Bills when Lamar threw another interception in the red zone. At some point, somebody's got to be the adult in the room, whether that's dealing with John Harbaugh, whether that's dealing with Lamar. In my opinion, it's putting players in position to succeed. And those things, are we succeeding at them? Whether they're good individual decisions at the time or not, I really don't care. Are we succeeding at a rate that proves it's the right thing to do 7 out of the 10 times we have to make that decision? However many times we think Harbaugh is going to go for it on 4th and goal from the 2. Is it the right decision the majority of the time? If it is, fine. I would move on. To me, there's ample evidence that it is not, and that we put ourselves in more difficult situations. 1 year ago today, we were all arguing about the same stuff, going for it on 4th down against the Bills. Yeah, they went down and they could have scored a touchdown. Okay, cool. You know who the adult in the room was last year? Marcus Peters. And people called him a jackass for being the one guy willing to say anything. That team that we watched lose today in Pittsburgh, that team needs a Marcus Peters. And you know which side of the ball really needs a Marcus Peters? The offense. They need someone to say, give me the goddamn ball as a running back and let me run it and finish this game, so that we don't put Lamar in a situation where he feels like his best choice is to go backside to OBJ as a fade, which is just a bad matchup. Joey Porter's probably 22, 23 years old. OBJ is an old 30. He's an experienced, grizzled veteran. He's going to have an impact for us this year. I'm not criticizing him, but that was a bad decision by our coaches to put Lamar in that situation, and it was a poor throw by Lamar. Multiple guys, give up today points, the worst of which for us to watch as Ravens fans is George Pickens beating Marlon Humphrey down the right sideline. You can't put that much pressure on your defense throughout the course of the game and not expect them to crack at some point. Pickens played beautiful today, don't get me wrong. They basically are just throwing glitch back shoulder fades to him, and he pushed off on 2 of them today, but apparently they're never going to call it because it's a slight push off. So he's very good at what he does. The larger point for me, besides breakdowns in the secondary there that gave up the touchdown to Pickens, Lamar's interception, the pass pro. I mean, who's surprised that Daniel Falele had trouble with TJ Watt? Who is surprised by that? Are you? I mean, I'm not. I'm a little surprised at how Ronnie Stanley's playing. I don't think he looks really sharp out there either. It may be time to evaluate some of our pass pro schemes from a standpoint of what we're asking our tackles to do versus the type of athlete they're going against. Maybe we've got to be a more conservative offense, 4 or 5 possessions a game. Hell, it seems to me as if we're going to be a team that scores 3 possessions a game offensively, maybe 4. And we're a chunk team that's inconsistent. 2 possessions a game, we're going to look damn near unstoppable. A 3rd possession, maybe we're going to look really good, get a touchdown or a field goal, hopefully not turn it over. But other than that, it seems like we're going to be kind of fortunate to get a 4th score from this offense against an NFL defense. You tell me if your perception or perspective is different from mine. When we've gotten short fields, like we got twice last week against the Browns, we capitalized on them. Lamar scored on the first touchdown. A QB counter play is great. Wish we had run that play on the 3rd and goal today. Maybe we'd be sitting here talking about a win where we played ugly, but at least we felt good being 4-1, because damn sure doesn't feel good to put this video out and have you guys have to listen to me. If you've listened this long, thank you. I feel sorry for you. So last point, we're in a perilous place at this point. We're now 3-2, tied with the Steelers in the AFC North. We wasted an opportunity all the way around. The familiar story, the Bills in 2022, the Giants in 2022, the Jaguars in 2022. This Steelers team did the same thing to us in Baltimore last year in Week 17. People called it An anomaly. Every year, Ravens fans say we're going to sweep the Steelers. Every year they sweep us or we split. This is reality. Right now, the Steelers are a team that has all of our numbers. And until something changes, we recognize that points matter, whether they're field goals, whether they're safeties, whatever the heck it is. This is the situation we're in against the Steelers. They played smarter. They relied on their defense throughout. We did too, but I think we do it unwillingly. It seemed to me the play calling in the first half was such that we thought we were so much better than the Steelers that, we're going to put up 24 points through 3 quarters and then just coast through the fourth quarter, which 24 points clearly would have gotten the job done. 20 points would have gotten the job done, obviously. It's not fun at all to say this, but really, the Ravens team deserved what happened today. Us as a fan base, we didn't deserve it, clearly. And it's frustrating to go through. You guys let me know what you think of some of my thoughts in the comment section. Appreciate your time. If you think other Ravens fans would want to watch this video, because no one's going to enjoy it, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.